Hello everybody, welcome to Blue Goose Garage. The clutch is terrible, which we knew about. The previous owner told us it would slip if you give it much gas at all. So I'm pulling it back in the garage tonight. I'm gonna jack it up and start putting the clutch in it. The clutch that I bought for it is a used one, of course, because this is Blue Goose Garage. We can't have any good parts on here. We always have junk. And it looks pretty good, but it's out of a race car, neon race car. This car runs good. We drove it 200 miles with the clutch like this, but it always makes you nervous. I might show you as it's slipping, giving it more gas. That was all slip. I don't know if you can tell it. If you were running the air conditioner and you kept your pedal in the same spot, but the air conditioner kicked out, it would slip. So these are modular. You can't just put a disc in them. So you have to replace the entire unit. I'm on the way to Harbor Freight to buy a socket. I should have had one, and I've had one before. They disappear occasionally at the house, and most of the time it's because I plant them in the field, apparently, and they don't grow. You end up losing sockets and screwdrivers and hammers, four-way lug wrenches and stuff like that, and occasionally you find one with a lawnmower. Harbor Freight to the rescue, yeah. You probably don't want to do that part, this part. You probably want somebody to hold the brakes. 32 millimeter axle nut socket, $5. After this car is done, we'll see if we ever see it again. Alright, so I don't know how much of this I've videoed already, but this is the clutch out of this car, and you can see here that the fingers are against the pressure plate. This is a used one that we bought, and the fingers are not against the pressure plate. You can't do that here. When a clutch wears out, these come out. So these are modular clutches. You can't rebuild them. I mean, I guess you could, but a normal fella cannot rebuild those. So I think this is an original clutch, and I'm pretty sure this one was. I did have to buy a new throwout bearing. The one that was in it was wore out. A friend of mine gave me one, the same guy I bought that off of, and it was junk. He was right. This came out of an old circle track car, so you know it's only had a gentle life. Me and my dad's going to try to put that transmission back up in here. We kind of like to say when something goes together too easy, something's going to be wrong, and it didn't take that much effort to get that back up in there. We'll find out, I guess. After it cools down some tonight, I'll come back up here and start putting everything back together. Alright, so I'm making a little bit of an effort to show you some stuff before this is all the way back together this time. I'm kind of really bad for not showing anything once I start putting something back together. All the bolts are in the engine through here. I gotta take this one back out and put a brace back on it from the transmission to the intake. Starter's bolted up, shifter cable brackets bolted up, motor mounts bolted up. All of this is. Once I've bolted the clutch assembly to the flywheel, or flex plate, whatever you want to call that, I will then put the dust shield on it and that bracket. I'll just kind of start, I normally try to start in one area and just kind of working around until it's all together, and then button stuff back up. So I'll be back in a few. Like I mentioned, I get in one of those grooves and I don't record anything, but I got it back together last night and I'm giving it a test drive now, and it seems to be alright. It feels weird to be able to give it more gas. So the clutch is working okay.